Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this new morning coffee. Good morning. It is my great pleasure to see you all again here in live. Today, we are talking about experience. We have all noticed that cruise lines, as much as cruise guest expectations, have deeply changed in recent times. Maybe even more since the pandemic. They all seek for an experience ashore. They do not want to visit our destinations anymore. They want to live them, to be immersed in them. And I am lucky to have three of our valuable MedCruise associate members with me today to discuss about it. Leyla Oner from Tura Tourism. Good morning, Leyla. Maria Angels Marin Ventura from BC Tours. Good morning. And Ioannis from Five Senses Consulting.
Good
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning, and thank you for being with us today, sharing your experience and your insight about cruise travel evolution in your own region. It will be nice, very nice indeed, to have both perspectives from East to West Med with you, Leyla and Marianne House. And from this, Ioannis, we'll enjoy your experience as a consultant to get why it is important to understand how to build our destination. Leyla, let's start with you. Good morning. You are a CEO at
Good
Tura.
morning.
You are CEO at Tura Tourism, and it is one of the biggest tour operators in Turkey. So, firstly, could you present to our members your company, please?
With great pleasure, Anne-Marie. First of all, thank you for inviting me to
My
this
pleasure.
panel. I'm very happy to be with all of you. It's like going to sea trade again. And our company is one of actually the oldest company as far as the travel agency is concerned, born in 1966. So it's actually the first child of the family. I'm a little bit younger than the company. So we're active since 1966, and since 70s. We were the tour operator for cruise lines starting to come to Turkey, and since then, we've been one of the major players in the cruise industry. But the company has actually evolved in time and has always been very dynamic. And over the past 50 years, we have lived through many good and bad times because we are in a very geopolitically volatile location in Turkey. So we had very good days and we had very bad days. So I think the essence of a company to stay alive is the passion you have for the job. So if you have the passion, the company, along with the members of the company, survives. But over the 50 years, I think we have accomplished to please over probably 20 million cruise guests, which is a very high number.
Right.
And we have also been able to be the source market for Turkish citizens to travel with cruise. So when you talk about cruise in Turkey, our name pops up because we are well known in the local market as well as by the international players of the cruise industry. So I'm very honored to be the representative of a glamorous history, and our wish is to continue the legend and to put on top of it every single day.
And to follow the legend, I read a sentence on your website I liked very much because it talks about patience. We don't follow the beaten paths, we create new ones. So which are now those new paths taken by cruise guests, in your opinion? And which are the trends you are feeling actually in your region in terms of shore excursion?
Anne-Marie, we've been quite empty in the last 6 years because Turkey was very unfortunate and we received no ships since 16. So the pandemic for us is a period of 6 years. Imagine the pandemic times 3, this is a long time. So once the pandemic was over, kind of over, and when we were trying to start back, it was like you have a nice car in the garage, which you don't use for 6 years, the car is good, but you need some, maintenance, and you need to put gas, you need to paint, you need to do this. So it was a bigger challenge for us compared to my colleagues here, probably, who have been a little bit more luckier than we were, because we've been really off the picture for 6 years. So when we initiated in October 21, with very few ships and very few guests, and with very few ships, what we have witnessed is that there is a tendency to go for less size groups. People didn't want to go in big groups. People wanted to be more with friends and family, or with people who they met on board. So we have seen the trend, that the trend was for smaller vehicles, less people, and less crowded, desire for less crowd. So this was one good point that we were able to witness. And then for 22, in the year of 22, we have considering the private arrangements and group requests, the demand was definitely 500 times more than any year in the past. So this is a very clear indication that people, due to COVID, and also not only due to COVID, because they want to explore the destination in smaller groups, were happy to pay more and be with less people on a bus or on a vehicle. So this was the trend that was major for 22, at least for Turkey. And when I say Turkey, I'm talking about 17 ports in total. And this is without the Black Sea ports. Unfortunately, this year Black Sea was off the picture. But without the Black Sea, I'm talking about 17 different ports, where the major player ports are Kuşadası, Istanbul, and Antalya, the three major cities. So Turkey is still visited by cruise lines for major locations, rather than the small niche ports, which are the other 14, which did receive a well amount of guests this year. But when I come back to your question, how do we create the new off the beaten path? I think the guest does not anymore want to go to a site, visit a museum, come out and have a coffee and get back to the ship. They want to go with the locals. They want to do the mini adventures. They want to do what the locals do, what the locals eat, what the locals take pictures of. So what we have done this year, which was, I think, quite successful, we went back to the community. And after 6 years, it was a little bit of refreshing the memories and refreshing what's on the market. So I think the first thing we need to do is to look very carefully and very deeply in what the local community and the destination can offer. So once you have the material in your hand, then you can combine this with different tours, such as when you're visiting a site like Ephesus, which is already very impressive, very nice, and everybody enjoys it. But at the end of the tour, if you have a local family greeting them and taking pictures, this makes the whole, spice and salt about it, because then the picture they will print and put on their living room will not be the Celsius, will be the picture with the family. So these kind of things is what we have tried to do. And of course, with small budgets, we cannot really go high with everything with high budgets. So what we have tried to do is to try to smart think of what the local community can offer to make the cruise guests a little bit more localized. And they were very, very welcoming to do that. So if you ask the local community, you get the answer, and then you use the answer, and then you can create some real good personal touched tours.
Apart the political situation you have mentioned before, the challenges are the same whether you are a boutique port or a marquee port. You have a 17 cruise ports network you are taking care of as a major tour operator. So what would you suggest to our members to promote this kind of shore excursions, or zero shore excursions in general?
Well, that's such a good question, and that's such a good question we all want to know the full answer of. I won't be I won't be saying that I'm doing everything correct, but so far I can share what we are doing.
Mm.
What we do is, first of all, the cruise line that you're working with matters so much in what you're going to offer. So when you're talking with Disney compared to, let's say, Seabourn or compared to Costa, you have to wear a different hat. So everything depends on what the customer of the cruise line is willing to do. So first you need to analyze your client and the clients of the client. So first is that. The second, what I try to do is I try to categorize the tours that would fit to that cruise line. Let's say if we're talking about Swan Hellenic, we need to go all full panoramic, but when you cannot have only one panoramic, you need to have a bunch of different panoramic tours, whereas you don't need an adventure tour. But when you're talking to Royal Caribbean, you need to have at least 3, 4 adventure tours on your portfolio, and maybe one panoramic is enough. So first you need to do the homework well with the cruise line. And then you need to do your homework at home, like categorizing what you can offer. So it's like, let's think of it like a kitchen, what we have as the ingredients. So we have tomato, onion, we have this and that, but not everybody likes their salad with onion. So you need to make sure you have different types of salads, meaning different types of tours, same tour offered in a different way. So let's say Santa Sofia, you can do Santa Sofia in a Christian way, you can do it in an agnostic way, you can do it in an Islamic way, or you can do it in a panoramic way. So the way you put the site into the picture of the cruise line is very important. And same sites and same locations, you can play around as much as you know. So the
Telling
second
different
part is
stories.
the categorization. And then the third part is going back to the local community and seeing what you can add to that portion of the demand. Let's say for Royal Caribbean or for, let's say, Princess, you need some family tours. So you need to go where the local families go. Where do they go? What do they do? Because the Princess guest wants to do the family type of tour that the local wants to do. So you need to get the sourcing from the local community with the officials as well as the local people, real local people. So you need to really go deep with your destination. And in big cities like in Istanbul or in Izmir or in Antalya, it's not so easy. It's not so easy to have a full picture. So you maybe sometimes you just start from somewhere and you end up somewhere, which gives you a better leverage on what you can offer. So the fourth part is the storytelling. Let's imagine you get something really off the beaten path to add to a tour. You need to explain it in a way that will create attention. And I want to start here by the name of the Shore Excursion, by the name of the tour the guest will buy. So if you call a tour Highlights of Istanbul, this is not really, you know,
Attractive,
telling
appealing.
too much. But if you say Istanbul up and down, or Istanbul twice as nice, or Istanbul underground, something that really, pops out as a name, that is really selling. So you need to work differently, maybe with a professional company, which I haven't done yet so far, but I really would love to work on the naming of the tour, because the guests don't read the rest of it so much, but the name is like a catcher. So the name really has to be very, with some nice touch in it. And the last thing that would come out as the plan goes is to create some conceptual tours. So in a conceptual tour, you can add a conceptual menu. You can do a Roman menu, you can do a Greek menu, you can do an Ottoman menu, or you can do a local families simple menu, which becomes conceptual because the guests eat it with a story. So everything has to have a story in itself, and guests don't remember how glamorous was Ephesus, how many people lived, or how many people were active at the BC 200, but they do remember what they have eaten in a house with Turkish or with any other nationality people. So what I want to mean is you start with a scientific approach. Being creative doesn't come like we're not really artists. So we're tourism, we're tour operators. We start with a scientific approach, which then deepens down to something which becomes a product. So it has to be solid, it has to be measurable, and it has to be profitable for everybody, for the guests, the cruise line, and for us.
Thank you, because it's really useful to understand how we can create the storytelling. But in addition of those marketing tools that are essential for the promotion, you also use technology. How do you use it
A lot.
to improve your services?
Well, we are very tech addicted, let's say. I mean, when nobody was using headsets in 2002, that's like 20 years ago, we had our own headsets, and everybody, even the cruise lines, didn't really care because that at that time it was a little bit of its time, and our guides were complaining like we're losing our eye contact and this is not really useful. But you need to really be stubborn with what you believe. So we believed in the headsets, and today we are having, of course, they evolve, so it becomes different every year. So now they are not even by radio, they are by digital. So we created the headsets in Turkey, and now we are probably the biggest number of owner of headsets, I would say, definitely in Turkey. And we are very proud to use them. But in addition to headsets, we have created a different type of it, which is called a smart tablet, which is a visual headset. So the smart tablet is a small Android tablet that the guests receive, and the guide also has the transmitter, and they can see things that they don't see in the tour, which are related to the tour in the smart tablet. For example, let's say you're in Virgin Mary's house and you are in front of the altar and you're praying for a few minutes and there's a huge crowd. You need to be very quick. It's a very busy day. So you don't really get to be there like you need to be there. But with the smart tablet, we show everything behind the altar, which is supposed to be the dress of Virgin Mary, which is supposed to be the book that Mary used to read, or the things that we promote as belongs to her. So once you're off the little church, you still get to see these things, and the guide gives the full explanation. Or in terrace houses, there are many small symbols, very important, but very small, very hard to see, especially for less walkers. So instead of going very close to it, the smart tablet gives the guest the option to look at it and to widen it like any screen. You can also do a roll call. You can call everybody by name because everybody enrolls in it. So smart tablet is a like a little bit better version of the headsets. And what we also do as far as technology into masses is we have a smart tablet at the end of the tour that the guests use to do their questionnaires online. And this is automatically shared by the cruise line executives. So they have the key passwords. So whenever they want during the day, after the day, they can look and they can see, let's say, bus 15, how much score they got and how much they rated for the guide, for the bus, for the restaurant, whatsoever. So this is really what the cruise lines like a lot, because they can measure the day. It's like a thermometer. We can measure the degree of the day in a second. So we really depend on technology, and I wish we could use more of it, and we will try to use more of it. This is something we're very committed to.
That's important for the cruise line, for the rates, as you said, but it's important for the destination as well to see how
Definitely.
Shore
How well
Excursion
we did.
work. Yes, yes, yes.
And
In
there is
addition,
always room for improvement, Anne-Marie. There is
of
always room
course,
for improvement. So one day, if you see a lower score in a restaurant, on that day, if you go to the restaurant and check what was wrong, then this won't be repeated. But when the questionnaire comes a month later, there is no way to track it, especially with our destinations like Greece, Turkey. We are so back to back. So you need to be improving on a daily basis.
yeah, and to be very reactive. And there is a last topic I want to talk with you about, and we are all working on improve this parts of cruise activity is sustainability, of course. How are you promoting sustainable tourism at Tura Tourism?
Well, Ioannis is here, so I won't be talking much about it. I leave it to the expert. But as far as Tura Tourism, we are very green, as much green as we can. And the employees, the trainings, the company's location, the carbon emission measurements, everything. What we did on our modest way, now we're doing it under Travel Life Certificate. And this year it's our, I think, 6th year with Travel Life. And now what we want to do is we want to make our tours Travel Life certified, because making a tours Travel Life certified means that you have to make everybody, your suppliers, the supply chain, everybody has to go green. So us being as a tour operator certified is maybe 1 mile out of a big marathon. But once we have maybe half of our tours certified, this is where our mission stands for. So this year we're able to only do 2 of our tours because it's quite something. It's quite a lot of work for especially the supply chain. And next year we're targeting for another 5 tours. So gradually by 2026, our mission is to have 26 tours with travel certification. So sustainability lies at the core of our business. This is where it is going all for, guests want it, cruise lines want it, and we want it.
It's a total, you did not know before, but you're giving me a wonderful transition for my next guest, because we are going to talk about certification and travel life with Maria and Hels from BC Tours. But before, I want to thank you for all the inspiration and the information you share with us today, to share your experience. And please stay with us, because we are talking about sustainable tourism again. And see you very soon in Istanbul, because we are going to Istanbul.
Yes, before you leave, I have the Celsius Library at the back of my screen.
Yeah.
So we're all inviting you to come and be our guest for a day in Ephesus, in Kushadasi, which will end up with some nice party. So Anya, Ioannis, Marie, all of you are more than invited, and so are our listeners, our participations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation, and see you soon in Istanbul. We're going to talk about PDC at the end of the morning coffee. Thank you, Leyla. And good morning again, Maria Angels Marin Ventura from BC Tours. You are operations manager Spain for the company. We really met last month at Seatrade Cruise Med in Malaga, where you presented to a panel of cruise lines a certification your company has been awarded, and we've just talked about with Leyla Travel Life. You're gonna give us more details later, but before you have a presentation, you're gonna give us some information, some presentation about BC Tours.
Sure. Thank you, Anna Marie, for the presentation, for the invitation, and the chance to be here and been speaking about the company and the project, no, and sharing with you the experience that we have, no. As you mentioned, I've been I'm now the operations manager for BC Tours. I've been working for the company for more than 15 years now. I started working as a peer supervisor, then I moved to Shore department, and then from last year I've been taking care of all the Spanish ports in these two areas, no, in the turnaround and the Shore Excursions department. Regarding the company, BC Tours is a company with more than 35 years experience in the business. We cover the three main areas, no? The port agency, the shore excursions, as well as the ground services. It started the company as a family-owned, as I was saying, more than 35 years ago, so a long time. We were not even born at that time because we are very young. And then, of course, back in 2018, the family that was the owner of the company decided to sell the company to a transportation company called ALSA, which is a huge transportation company, leader in the market. So this is what the umbrella that we have behind nowadays, behind BC Tours. As I was telling you, we cover these services, the shore excursions, the port agency, and the ground services. We try to give as much coverage to the cruise lines as they want to give us. We created some years ago like different brands depending on the business itself. We created BC Yachting, which was more dedicated to the yachting customers. Then we have the BC Shipping, which is also covering like all kind of customs. When we have loadings for the vessels and we have to go through customs, we have a special department taking care of this. Of course, we have the BC Travel brand, the BC Tours brand, and then we also developed the BC Rewards, which is a brand dedicated to those independent guests, those guests that do not want to take part of excursion, but they are still arriving to the destination, and there's always something that we can offer for them. So we created this department, and then finally we have the BC Boutique department, who they are the ones looking into finding the most exclusive, unique experiences at each destination. Okay. So we thought that we needed this kind of different concept, not trying to have something requested by the cruise line, but going one step ahead and trying to find the unique things at each destination, which might be for family or might not, which might be a luxurious experience or might not, but always like very unique, to each port, which means that maybe we don't have an experience at every single port that we cover, but we have these unique experiences that we believe that they are great and important for our portfolio.
Let's dive now into one of your main objective is sustainable tourism development. We gonna see in the next slides, yes, how we improve the sustainability of the cruise activity.
Exactly. We have a long experience. We cover many different ports and we work for many different cruise lines, but nowadays one of our pillars, our main points in the company is about sustainability, because we believe this comes from the upper management and it has come to all of us in the company. Sustainability is not a choice, an option anymore. It's part of the road that we have to walk nowadays, and especially us, that we work with cruise ships. We have to take care of the oceans, of the seas, because it's our business is there. So in this sense, we've worked for a long time trying to get all the certifications. We have a strong commitment, and we've gone through many different certifications like the ISO 9001 and the ISO 14001, which are not only looking into the quality of the services, but also looking into the environment and the sustainability.
Yes, there are global certifications.
Exactly. That's correct. And in this sense, we are very lucky that we have ALSA, no? Next slide, behind us, because they are a leading transportation company, and they belong to the National Express company, which is based in UK, and together they have designed this road towards sustainability, no? And the main goal for 2030, which is only 8 years in time, will be to have all the vehicles in the fleet to be eco-friendly, whether they are electric or they are gas or hybrid, but they will all have to be eco-friendly. No, that's the goal for the company that we have behind. So this is very important as well for us, having this support from them.
We can see what it takes more precisely in terms of transportation in your next slides.
Exactly. One of the pillars, no, of this sustainability project is the transportation, because even if we have some biking, some walking tours, most of our tours are linked to transportation. So we thought that something that we had to attack right away, no, in terms of sustainability, was the transportation means that we were using, the vehicles, no. So this is why we ask our main company behind ALSA to get some vehicles which would be eco-friendly, no? Like the electric vehicles that we are using in Barcelona, or the gas vehicles that we are using in Valencia and Palma de Mallorca. This is really important. We have started with these electric vehicles giving service into the shuttles, but we will incorporate them also for the excursions, for the turnarounds, for all the transfers, and for the private arrangements. For all these kind of vehicles, we'll incorporate more and more the electric, if possible, which are the zero emission ones.
And I know how difficult it is, because I think we all working on developing eco-friendly tours, but the main challenge for destination is electric vehicles, because we can all provide eco-friendly tours, but we still have this difficult point about transportation. So yes, it's impressive to see that we are all on the right way. And about, yes, eco-friendly tours, guests now want, I told it before, an immersion in the local lives. They want to meet locals. We talked about it with Leyla as well. They want to learn something from them, to share something with them. So how does it inspire you new ideas of tours for your clients? And what would be now a good sustainable tour for a destination?
Yeah, it's important to work on the transportation, because it's something basic in our tours, but it's also important to work on the content of the tours, no, and involving the sustainability. We started working in tours, in these tour contents many years ago, and some people were saying, like, you're just crazy, no? Like, who is going to be interested in going to the beach to clean, no, and all this. But as we were saying, no, we as tour operators, we are part of the destination. So we want to keep this destination. We have to keep the balance and leave a good, positive footprint, no, in when we work. So we've created like many different tours, no, sustainable tours. Some of them they've been not very successful. Some of them we had to adjust them to change. Some others have come to stay, in the portfolio, and it's always very interesting, finding new things at each destination. I just put here like some examples, of what we are doing now. For instance, in Alicante, we are doing a kayak tour, but it's not just a kayak tour, like you can have in any other destination, or like the kayak tour that we used to have before. This is a kayak excursion where the instructor will ask you to help him to collect all the plastics that you will find on the way. The instructor will teach you how these plastics, they damage the ecosystem, the sea, and all that. So you will enjoy the experience because it's a fun experience, but it's also to give to have a seat on everybody to come home later, thinking that we should care about the planet. So we try to mix these two things, combine not only being a sustainable tour. It doesn't mean that it has to be boring. No, not at all. You can have fun and you can learn things, which is
yes, you combine the positive impact on the environment, and people live with a positive feeling, a good feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely. The same that we have in Vigo, when we visit the Thies Islands. This is a paradise. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, but we don't only want to show the beautiful of the place, we have a hiking instructor. Again, he's a biologist, so he explains about the animals that you can see, the danger of these animals disappearing year after year because of pollution and all that, without being boring, again, because we are on a holiday, so we want to give a great experience, but also teaching about all these things. Also, we have another example. I don't want to give you like many different examples, but in Valencia, it's a different product. Now it's not about having an instructor teaching you, the positive impact that we have to make in our planet, but we are visiting an eco-friendly farm where our guests will be able to enjoy orange juice, from the oranges that you will find in the garden, which is a traditional gardening style, not modernist, not using machines, but kind of a slow food movement, like trying to have not many oranges, but having the oranges that we need and the good quality, and this is a very nice tour as well.
I love the title of the tour, and I say hello to our senior vice president, Francesca Antonelli from Valencia Port. You need to take me to Citric Heart. So we talked about certification. So one of the best practices, Maria, you would recommend is to get the sustainability certifications for shore excursions, like Travel Life. So what does it mean?
Exactly. For us, it was a very important step, moving forward, because we had the transportation, we had the ideas, but we needed to have them all certified, So we started working with Travel Life back in 2019, so that we could have a company auditing all that we were doing, and it was a great process, learning process, very hard, because they ask you for many different papers, and they keep a control on what you're doing, so that they make sure that you get to the goals that are set, and that you keep doing what you were doing initially. So that was an important step in our goal of being a sustainable company. Also, in 2022, this year, we got the certification renewed in the Excellent Sustainability Award, and we are in Spain the only company that we have this certification, because it really takes a long time, and to have all your tours certified was what Leyla was saying. It's a lot of work, and it's not only about you. You need to as well make your partners know, your supply chains to join, all this sustainability. So that was
it takes a lot, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we are very happy as well that this year we are also part of the Tour project, which is a European community project where there are also cruise lines involved, and that consists on sharing all these sustainable practices and making sure we have our suppliers getting on their own certifications, or at least following the steps that we ask them to follow to keep being our suppliers.
So very interesting. Thank you so much, Maria Angels. More than ever, you showed us sustainability is on our agenda, and you give us today many ways of improving cruise activities in our own destinations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now it's time to welcome my third and last guest, Ioannis. Welcome to the Morning Coffee. Thanks for joining us this morning for a very useful and inspirational intervention too.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I will not go into details about me or my company because I always like to talk about the work I do, not specifically the company. But for the ones who were not friends on LinkedIn yet, just go in, go Ioannis Bras, and let's become friends. And that's, to me, is the most important. Friends first, business later. But let me start with a story before I go to my presentation, because I think stories is what will get us excited today. I had the pleasure and honor to be a CEO of Heraklion Port for many years, and I was crazy enough to test a few projects to see how they work, how the passengers react, what's the connection between information and the connectivity with the businesses, how they understand the destination. End of the day, what was the result back to the destination? So one of the projects we did was to introduce a small project. My motto always is that small projects with big effects. That's my motto, if you want. And we introduced Cretan herbs in the port of Heraklion. So we worked with the local authorities, with the municipality, and we did we found 12 different herbs from Crete. Some of them, the basil, the oregano, but some other local one as well. And we did in this corridor we had leading from the port to the city. We planted the pots. We had signs, a big sign in the beginning to showcase the project, see, feel, and smell the Cretan herbs. That was the motto. And then on each pot, we had one small sign explaining what this herb was, and a second one with a recipe. And you could QR the recipe to take it back home with you. So we had 12 of them planted. We did a small contract to someone to go regularly and change them, obviously because we were encouraging people to touch and smell and do the whole thing. The last one was, we have a herb in Crete called Erondas, which comes from the word Latin eros, which means love. So yes. The story has it that Erondas is very positive for your nightlife, adventures. So as a joke, and this is the reality, as a joke, and let me tell you that I went to a few shops in Heraklion and I said to them, look, I will do this project. I would like you to give me feedback in terms of statistics, how much your sales increase, or if you have any difference, right? So we do the project. So we do this, and the final one is Erondas. So as a joke, on the sign, I put in the Cretan Viagra and left it there. So the project was progressing, and after like a month or 2 months or 3 months, I went back to the shops and said, okay, yes, we have the project. Is it making any change, any difference? Believe it or not, on those 3 shops, which were located centrally, and they were selling the herbs and the products, 25% increase in sales. And
the power of storytelling, the power of the word.
And Erondas was gone. It was gone. Everybody was asking for Erondas to buy, and it was gone from the shops. They had no more. So they sold out. So this showcases that we can, if we're smart enough, showcase how we can affect people's mood, people's buying power to do something we want for the destination. It was a small project, but my God, it costed like 2,000 euro. But how much bigger effect it had on the passengers? Touch, cut a small piece, smell it, take a picture of the recipe and go home and then try it on by themselves. Let me, and after this, I think, nice story, let me go to my presentation.
Yes, please.
So for the ones who don't know me, I'm Ioannis. I'm Chairman and CEO of 5 Senses Consulting. I am based in Greece, but working globally. I was very active, as you might know, with during the pandemic. I helped about 50 ports worldwide with the restart processes. We are now working with many ports in terms of getting them to be the best they can, help them on any level of services they want, from B2Bs to improving the experience they provide. And experience is what's all about. So the passengers want the best travel experience, of course, nowadays also with the safety in mind. And this is the way we can give them. And we have to inspire them, answer the whys. We have to connect and answer the whens, the wheres, the who, and the hows. We have to understand what is the experience itself we provide. And of course, we have to have in mind security and safety in the destination. The way I look at it always is do a dual check, the science and the art, as my very good friend Tim Littley would say. And science has all to do with port characteristics, port infrastructure, and how you handle that, and you decide which companies you need to target, and what level and what is your capacity in your port. And the art has to do with the experience we provide. The first and the last part of the experience is in the port. Together with excursions, together with a visit in the destination, that is what makes the visit very unique. So the way I look at it is I say that we have to have a balance. We know that the cruise lines is the desirability and safety for the destination, the revenues they make and the experience they offer. And what we say, we need to make this a balance equation and ask the port, the city, all other ports and the cruise lines to work together in a perfect cycle, in a perfect triangle, excuse me. So when you start working towards an equation like this, is that when you start evolving and understanding the level of service you provide in all aspects of your operations and how you provide information. And information is what we will be talking about today. I will start with a quick example of the...
We are not seeing the flow of your presentation correctly. We are stuck on the first slide.
Yeah. Sorry, I will go like this. I know it sometimes can be very quick, but anyway, okay. Let me go back a couple of, I'm showing this triangle to you when I was describing the perfect triangle we need to do. And then the next one, I'll play like this, don't worry. It's about the science and the nautical port evaluation reports that you need to do. Obviously, many of you have seen this request from the cruise lines. You need to fill the forms and make sure that you provide all the data about your port, your depth, your bollards, your fenders, your bus spaces, the wind, the salt, etc., etc. This is something very standard that nowadays we do. We assist the ports we work with to do it. And what we say is that if we move on to the art part of it, is that we need to bring together the characteristics of the destination. The port is part of the destination in terms of culture, history, adventures, and gastronomy, and create experiences that will lead into cruise tourism. And that is how we work our equation. And the way we do it is that my company is called 5 Senses for a reason. We have the 5 senses, and if we understand and isolate what 5 senses we can affect from each action we do, and do this in a systematic way, this is when we can have results, we can measure the results, and we can see how we better affect all this. The way we do it is we create projects, we create actions, we have infographics for each action, and then we have an equation in a way to see from each action what senses we affect, and we put it in a big form. And if we have 5 actions from 5 senses, we can get the certification from 5 Senses Consulting. You know very well, this is something which you probably have seen, the scorecard from the cruise lines, and this is something which they do all the time. And what I say, we have put it a step forward in a more systematic way, which I won't go through it now because it will take time, but this is something we do in terms of our questionnaires when we do in the ports we work with. This is part of the results, the histogram, and this is how we present results. With the red dotted line is our KPIs. In this stage is, I think, about 80% or something like that, 85%. And with the blue is how we scored. And this in one graph, you can see how you scored. You can see what changes you might need to do and where. And this is something we can work with other authorities in the destination, because it's not just a port. It can be the access for disabled passengers. It can be the transportation. It can be many things. But this is a good indication on how you score, and you can keep it as a standard for your next management. This is something we do very regularly with the ports we work with. The next slide has to do, and now we go a bit more practical, because we don't have enough time. For any one of you who would like more information, of course, I'm just a WhatsApp away. This is one of our signature projects called Smart Signs. Smart Signs is when we connect the physical with the electronics. This is a mobile sign. You can move it, as you can see on the bottom picture here, where we have in a destination a series of signs located in specific places, usually in a circle. And then we encourage you to go in this route and explore the destination of the city. We provide information about the characteristics of the destination. As I said, history, culture, gastronomy, and adventure. Each sign has information about the location it is, and also something additional. And all of them, if you visit all of them, you have a full picture on how and where you are. Psychology equals cruise equals psychology. So the more relaxed you are, knowing where you are exactly in that moment of time, the more connection you will have with the destination, the more money you're going to spend. Of course, we have QRs, and with QRs, you are able to scan for more languages and more information. So this is how we connect the physical with the electronics. That's why it's called smart. We have the opportunity to promote the hashtag of the destination. Hashtag is something very, very important. It provides free advertisement for all the passengers for your destination, for your port. You take a full advantage of using a hashtag and promoting it. And believe it or not, in the places we've installed this project, the way we do it, we've seen increase in spending in the destination 20 to 25%. And this is a huge number. Makes all the shop owners very, very happy. Another thing we do very uniquely is we introduce what we call destination excursion books. This is the take of the destination, the proposal of the destination. Don't get me wrong, travel agents and tour operators are the ones who do the excursions, but you need to provide what's available in your destination. You need to control this as a port, as well as a destination. And this is something which we do, is been received very, very well from all the cruise lines. These are a couple of examples in terms of how we do it. So this is excursion sheets. Of course, on top we have, what you will use, if it's accessible, what you will see, how long it will take. And usually it's a triangle excursion. You go to more than one place. So combinations. You have to think about if it's a contemporary, if it's a premium, if it's a luxury cruise line. So it will depend on the cost or the experience they offer. And this is how you need to start growing your portfolio of information for your port destination. This is something very unique we do. I'll be happy to provide you more information about this, but this is something which definitely I would recommend that will increase the value of your port. Let's not forget, when you need to attract cruise lines, you will see the port operations / itinerary department, one. You will see the marketing department, desirability of the destination, and you will see the Shore Ex department as well. All three of them have to agree to bring you calls or to bring you more calls to your destination. So the more happy you make them, the more calls, the more business you're going to have for your port. This is actually the project I described for you in the beginning, the herbs, and you will see the infographic on the top right and what of the senses is affecting. So in this case is the smell, the touch, and the eye. This was the project See, Feel, and Smell, and that was that's one of the signs, in terms of the Kavala herbs and what you prepare to do, etc. And also one of the signs for the this is in thyme, for example, and the QRs that you will be able to go in and scan and get the recipe if you like what you see. So in a way, you have to think, what is the tree of life in your area? Every destination has a tree of life. What I mean tree of life, what is the main product of your area? Do you sell products? Not you as a port, but are products sold by this? Olive oil, oranges, whatever that is. So every destination has a tree of life. It can be a bush, it can be a tree, or whatever. Are you promoting this? Are you giving this information to the passengers? Does the cruise line has a map from you with the right to use when the ShoreX office closes the previous night? That's the question you need to ask yourselves. You will be surprised how bad information they have about your destination if you don't provide them with information that you know and you have checked. You'll be surprised. I dare you to go out to the cruise lines and find out the maps they have for your destination. You will be surprised. It's not the best, believe me. Moving on, a couple more examples. So this is the project. Yeah, this is the photo. You see the two signs I was telling you about. This is the corridor, and this is how we encourage people to go and smell. And the last spot was Edondas. And by the way, in the next trade, I will have Edondas packs with me for free gifts, for anybody interested. And just going back to the presentation, and now we don't have enough time. Another thing which is really great, the tree of life, as I was saying, the example. In this case, we have an olive tree. This also was made in Crete. So we replanted a 480, now it's 500-year-old olive tree in the port, giving people the opportunity to go and take photos. And what we did is we created a very nice sign, the sign you can see here on the background. We're giving information about how good olive oil is. Crete produces olive oil, giving recipes for olive oil, and basically saying to people, go and buy olive oil. And you know what? People went out and bought olive oil, purchased olive oil to take back with them. As simple as that. In terms, another thing which I think is very important when you provide information is to have very strong social. Either it can be a LinkedIn account, it can be your Facebook account or your social account. What you need to do though is promote those accounts within the port. Let people know what is the URL, what's the website. Let people know with the hashtag they need to use when they post photos. So in terms that, just some wording here, we don't have time. Target traffics, SEOs, relationships, get noticed, showcase, and competition, analyze your competition. Your competition is out there. Are you out there? And how much out there you are? This is very important. LinkedIn becomes even more important. And to the cruise line executives, it's important that to me that you go out and you do regular posts. It's not difficult to get YouTube videos to see how you can do it better. But you will see, I just put one of my posts here, which was one of the visits in TUI, 11,000 views, and you see here how many cruise executives have seen this post. LinkedIn has great analytics. So are you make yourself present in that community? Believe me, the cruise executives have seen this over and over again. I've proved that this is the case and the way to go forward. So the question is, how active are you in LinkedIn? It's free. And how often do you do posts for your port and destination? In my mind, you should. I will close this with a couple more slides. One is what I call the success sign. And this is something which usually we do when we go into a cooperation with some of the ports and destinations we work with. So my destination, technology and innovation we use, as we discussed, health protocols, I still leave it there because even though now we are away from COVID, you never know what's going to happen, so safety. What makes you different? The culture, the present excursions and the excursions you offer. And I will talk to you about transformational cruise experiences in terms of how you can provide experiences in your destination, in your port, that will help your passengers to become better people. This is a long discussion which we can have in the near future. Cooperation is very important with all the local stakeholders. The facilities and infrastructure, of course, sometimes small infrastructure, as I call it, can go a long way. Pathways for the passengers, signage to go to the city, information about the Wi-Fi or etc. Identify and showcase your history, your guests. Do you have photo opportunity to take snapshots? Do you have a welcome sign in your port? Very, very important, believe it or not. And of course, food love. Loves. My mother used to say, love goes to the stomach, to your heart. I am strong with that. And I think most of you are. I can see big smiles. So
your mother was Really, really good one.
Gastronomy is important, and every destination has its own characteristic gastronomy. Are you taking advantage of them? Are you using them to your own benefit? So what I'm simply saying is that many of you, the port is just my bollards, my fenders, how clean it is. Do I have signs? But yes, it is very important. But you need to check all the boxes. As I said, port infrastructure in terms of itinerary and port operations, marketability of destination, and the third row is Shore Ex. I'm Ioannis Bras. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I know this was very, very fast and giving you some information, but I want just to touch base with you how important it is to provide the right information to your guests, to your passengers, and to the cruise lines. You remember the triangle, the golden triangle? This is a cooperation factor. So I urge you to go out, seek the information, the right information you have from your destination, and showcase it to your passengers, showcase it to the cruise lines, and that can be a win-win-win situation. Win for the port, win for the passengers, win for the cruise lines. I'm out.
Thank you so much, Ioannis, because it was a real short masterclass you gave us this morning. So if any one of you want to ask some specific questions to Ioannis, the floor is now open. So you can raise your hand or type your question in the chat section, or of course, Ioannis, you put some message in the chat section before if they want to ask you some question. Our members can reach you on LinkedIn. We talked about the importance of social media. We need to be port together on the social media as well. It's important for all of us to continue to share our experience and our
Anne-Marie, there is an idea, and we're in discussion, and I'm putting a proposal together to do this properly. I mean, in 10-15 minutes, you just have a snapshot.
Well, just a sneak peek.
Yeah. So the idea would be to have a full day workshop and do exercises and understand the core of this strategy, and see how you can connect yourself with all these values of the 5 senses model to your destination. So this is something which we discussed with with Emilia and Figen and everybody. So I wanted just to give a sneak peek on how we see things, and believe me, they work, and this is the important thing. And in end of the day, you want to have happier passengers, and that will make more calls for you. And I'm sure that your board of directors or your bosses or whatever will be much happier.
More than pleased to talk with you later about it with my fellow board members as well, and the secretariat, of course. Thank you so much for your proposal. So, Emilia, do we have some questions? No, do you want to so I just thank Ioannis again. So please, the floor is yours, Emilia. We have a professional development course in a few weeks in Istanbul. So please.
Exactly, on the 24th of November. First of all, I would like also to thank Leyla, Maria, and Ioannis for all 3 fantastic presentations on experiences. Just a reminder for our members that the deadline for the registration ends on next Friday, on November 4th. Introducing basic concepts of environmental aspects in cruise traffic is the title of the 2022 edition of Professional Development course. We would love to see you all in Istanbul. It's an one-day course on the 24th, and then of course on Friday 25th, for all those that they want to stay in Istanbul, has been scheduled a tour to the Galata Port, to the new terminal, underground terminal of Galata Port, Istanbul. Of course, Figen, our president, is going to do the tour to all members. Our website, inside our the dedicated web page inside our website, has all the information and all the links to register, to find your hotel and the program. more than welcome to register, and we're looking forward to see you all there in Istanbul.
Francesca, are you still there? Francesca Antonelli?
Yes, I am.
Do you want to say a word about the content? Because you are in charge of the professional development.
Yeah,
course.
well, Emilia said it everything. Just reminding you that we think it is important to go a little bit in deep on sustainability aspect for cruise personnel, not for our colleagues in our organizations who are in charge with sustainability. We also working at commercial side or a port side or a shore side or whatever. If we are not in a day-to-day basis in touch with technical sustainability issues, sometimes we got a little bit lost. Others are very experts, like our dear Valeria or dear Jamil, for instance. So that was the idea behind that, doing a really basic course where our lecturer, Miguel Nunes, will explain us everything. By the way, MedCruise asked him for doing a handout, and he's preparing an amazing handout for all of us. So again, please inscribe yourself, and as Leyla said, don't miss beautiful Istanbul. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. And we also have Figen, our dear president, Figen Ayan, with us today. Figen, please, the floor is yours. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this morning coffees, which are really a good place where we are joining on a great manner and a casual manner. And Anne-Marie has done a great job. Thank you for all the presentation as I've written. For the PDC, same as Leyla has invited you, I would like to kindly invite you to Galata Port Istanbul and have a look to how we explored sustainability. There has been a lot of challenges that we are still living, and Leyla is the first person to know how hard it is and how challenging it is. But actually it's thanks to great professionals like her team, and actually everyone around this table, that actually we can just move mountains, basically. So I'm really looking forward seeing you at the professional development course, which was organized beautifully by Francesca. And I would like to send my regards and my thank you. And also to explore Galata Port Istanbul interior and underground training. So looking forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you, Figen. I'll be in Istanbul, and I am so looking forward to it and to visit Galata Port as well. Leyla, Maria, and Ioannis, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to have you by my side today. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to get to know better your companies and your work. Thank you especially for giving us so much inspiration to improve our communication and promotion, always in a more sustainable way, because sustainability is deeply in the core of MedCruise's holistic approach of cruise activity. And the morning coffee, as Figen said, is hopefully a space where all our members are welcome to talk and share about their activities, but also about their challenges, and help each other to find ideas and solutions to face them. Feel free to send me an email if you want to propose some topics, of course. I would be more than pleased to invite you to talk soon. See you very soon in Istanbul. Emilia, Anya, Sarah, thank you for making everything smooth as usual. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. See you soon for another match.
Family photo. Please don't discount.
Thank you. Thank you. So, smile.
Open your cameras, please.
Yes, please. We want to see your smile.
Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. One more.
Keep smiling. You don't know where you are.
1, 2, 3. MedCruise.
MedCruise.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Anne-Marie, for
Yes,
those who are coming to Istanbul, 2 tips. First of all, don't eat anything for the 3 days before coming here. And please sleep well, because you will have a lot of things to see. You won't have time to sleep.
That's good tips. Thank you so much. See you very soon.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.